Jamaica love, Jamaica, Jamaica love. We wanna see Jamaica love. The one that represent the citizens of Jamaica. Jamaica love, Jamaica. Represent where you're born. Tune up hurricane and star. From the time red jack, me no matter about tax man, still a hustler.
Welcome to our channel. Today we are featuring the parish of Kingston in Jamaica, its history and development as a parish. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, turn on your post notification button for future videos.
Kingston early beginnings. The parish of Kingston is the capital of Jamaica, and it is located on the southeastern end of the island. Port Royal, which was originally separated from Kingston, is today part of the parish and is served by the same parochial body. Initially it was Port Royal and not Kingston that originally held the interest of the world, as Port Royal was the headquarters of the English buccaneers or pirates, chief among them the famous captain, Sir Henry Morgan. Port Royal became wealthy from the goods that were pillaged from the Spanish, and as a result of the turbulent life of the town's inhabitants. Port Royal was dubbed as the wickedest city in the world. Kingston's rise, Port Royal's demise. Until 1692, there was no such place as Kingston. Kingston came into existence in 1692, after a massive earthquake, and tidal waves destroyed up to 2/3 of Port Royal, and caused the deaths of about 3,000 inhabitants. The survivors fled to the Ligania Plain, where an even larger number perished from exposure and disease. As a result, 2 weeks after Port Royal's destruction, 200 acres of land known as Colonel Barry's Hog Crawl was purchased by the government from Sir William Beeston at a cost of £1,000. Nicholas Laws, Beeston's attorney, sold Hog Crawl on behalf of Beeston, who was absent from the island at that time. This was done for the erection of a new town, Kingston. Early maps listed Kingston's name as Beeston. This could have easily been said as the land was purchased from Sir William Beeston. In July 1692, plans for building the new town of Kingston by John Goff, a surveyor, were drawn up, and terms by which settlers could acquire land were issued. Port Royal was still the choice of residence by many persons because of the former grandeur. Consequently, this stalled the development of Kingston. As soon as the horrors of the earthquake were forgotten and a sense of normalcy was restored, migrants sailed back to Port Royal. This all came to a halt a few years later, however, when a catastrophic fire in 1703 completely destroyed most of what the earthquake had spared, as well as the buildings that were restored. Once again Port Royal residents migrated to Kingston, most never to return. Soon after 1703, a law was passed declaring Kingston to be the chief seat of trade and head port of entry into the island. From this moment on, the prosperity of Kingston was assured. And in 1713 it was declared by law that the Kingston should forever be taken and esteemed as an entire and distinct parish, with all the powers of any other parish, and that, further, it should have the right of sending 3 representatives to the assembly. More development of Kingston took place in the latter years as the population continued to grow. In 1842, the city received its first public water supply from the Hope River. It was dirty and unfiltered, but supplied approximately 1,600 homes. 3 years following that development, the railway to Spanish Town was opened on the 21st of November 1845. In about the middle of the century, a coaling station was established near the foot of East Street. This meant that steamer ships now called at Kingston on their way to Central and South America, and crews and passengers came on shore and spent a certain amount of money in the city. Kingston becoming the capital of Jamaica. The idea of Kingston becoming the capital of Jamaica was first put forward by the governor of Jamaica, Admiral Charles Knowles. Historians have pointed out that somewhere around the mid-18th century, he sought to have the capital city moved from Spanish Town to Kingston. A reason for this, historians note, is because Kingston's port had a greater capacity than all other ports in the island combined. Also, because of its location, Kingston benefited from the trade in contraband with Spain's recalcitrant colonies in the Caribbean. Not many shared the view of Knowles, especially because Kingston was merely 50 years old, and many thought that it could never succeed Spanish Town as a suitable capital, especially as Spanish Town had been the capital for 230 years. Admiral Knowles' proposal met with strong support from members of the Assembly from Kingston and other eastern parishes, and a harsh and vigorous opposition from members from Spanish Town and the western parishes. Eventually steps were taken to make Kingston the capital of Jamaica by Governor Knowles, who sent the paperwork to Britain for it to be made into law. His successor Henry More announced in 1758 that the king had not allowed the bill making Kingston the capital city of Jamaica. As many years went by, the capital of Jamaica soon switched from Spanish Town to Kingston. In 1872, after over a century of lobbying by Kingston merchants, Kingston became the official capital of the island, primarily because the population of Kingston was rapidly increasing. Its location was said to be more in touch with the outside world through shipping, and commercial activity in Kingston eclipsed that of Spanish Town. Growth and development of Kingston. During the post-emancipation period, private and speculative builders added 2 suburban zones to the settlement, which had been developed during the 18th century. Areas that were built before 1890 were laid out in geometrical designs reminiscent of Gough's original town plan. By 1848, new houses had been constructed in the west, north and east, and major settlements developed at Raytown, Brownstown, Lindowstown, Hannahtown, and Smith Village, also known as West Kingston. Between 1848 and 1889, these were added, the suburbs of Fletcher's Town, Kingston Gardens, Allman Town, Franklin Town, and Passmore Town. By 1920, several of these districts were composed of densely populated tenements, and the continuously built-up area had spread across the parish boundary into St. Andrew, reaching Up Park Camp, Jonestown, and the mental hospital in the north, west, and east respectively. The second zone of more sparsely populated suburbs developed after 1890. It expanded rapidly between the First and Second World Wars, as the population of the capital doubled and the inhabitants of some of the older parts of Kingston moved into St. Andrew. By the 1940s, the built-up area extended eastward to Long Mountain, northeast to Matilda's Corner, north to Crossroads, Halfway Tree, and the Sandy Gully. From the late 18th century until around the 1890s, the Ligania Plain existed as a quasi-suburb of Kingston. Its agricultural character declined with the eclipse of the sugar industry. Cattle pens and former estates over time became residencies of businessmen. Not long after the 20th century, the city of Kingston was to undergo another major tragedy. A massive earthquake struck the city on the 14th January 1907. A large part of the downtown area was destroyed and virtually all the buildings south of Parade. Casualties of 800 up to 1,000 were believed to be a result of the earthquake and its tsunami which ensued. As a result of the damage, building codes now had restrictions of not more than 60 feet high. A grant of £150,000 and a loan of £800,000 was secured from the British government and shared among the property owners, who were responsible for their own redevelopment. Residencies as far north as Halfway Tree and St. Andrew had to be reconstructed, but the most comprehensive rebuilding was undertaken in the commercial area. A big thanks to our sources: Cundall Frank, Historic Jamaica and Names of Jamaica Place. The West India Committee, 1915 and 1939. Jamaica Information Service, Kingston and St. Andrew. A series of parish profiles, Kingston GIS, 1990. Jamaica National Heritage Trust, St. Andrew Heritage Sites. Web, April 8, 2014. www.jnht.com. The Handbook of Jamaica for 1894. Kingston. Government Printing Office, 1894. Dictionary of Place Names in Jamaica. Kingston. The Institute of Jamaica, 1978. www.nlj.gov.jm. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notification button. Also, look out for part 2 about Kingston. Thank you for watching.